So I saw the Death Note movie today, and it sucks. I am a huge fan of the anime show. It's one of my favorite things ever. And yes, when we all saw the trailers, all the fans of the anime, we knew it was going to blow. But I was not prepared for how bad it was. So, for the uninitiated, Death Note is a manga. Oh shit, I forgot the name of the authors. I forgot. But it's a manga that was made into an anime, and it was a really popular anime. And it's a really good story. It's a really great thriller. And it's been years and years that the United States decided that they wanted to do an American version. And finally Netflix produced one, and the trailers came out, and it looked really bad. The best way that I can describe this, me and a friend, we were discussing about this, and we both decided that this is Death Note, the Twilight edition. It has all the tropes of a YA fiction. Like, it takes place in high school, there's a prom, there's a girlfriend. It's like, no. I'll admit, not everything is really, really bad. There is a couple of things that are good. Sadly, they don't redeem the movie at all. One thing is that it kind of does try to do its own thing. It doesn't try to repeat completely the original Death Note. It does try to be more of an American version with more of American storytelling. The thing is that the American elements are really cliche and they suck. The deaths are gory and satisfying, and the ending could have been good if it was in another movie. If it was part of another story, it could have been a good ending, but it's not. It's like too little too late. So for the uninitiated, I don't really want to spoil the original Death Note, so if you haven't seen it, and if you're slightly interested in the original anime, see it, check it out for yourself. If you're like, well, I'm interested but I don't want to know, here's a bit of spoilers. So the original Death Note is about Light Yagami, a kid who's in high school and finds a notebook where if you write the name of someone in that notebook and you think about their face, that person dies. And a Shinigami, or a god of the dead, comes with each notebook, and Ryuk drops a notebook in earth, and Light finds it, and he's like, you know what, I'm sick of all injustice, I'm gonna kill all criminals, and I'm gonna be the god of a new world. Eventually the police decide that this person that the public deems as Kira is a murderer. They deem him as a criminal. So they start investigating and trying to find out where Kira is. And eventually they decide, okay, he's in Japan. So this really powerful detective called L goes to Japan. And between L and Light's dad, who's a cop, and a task force, they're trying to bring Light down. Of course, they don't know that Light is Kira. And eventually a girl that is really a fan of Kira finds out that Light is Kira, and the thing is that she's really stupid, and Light convinces her that he loves her so he can use her. And the whole point of the series is this really tense relationship between Light and L, because L sees Light as an equal. They're both really, really smart, narcissistic people that they don't want to give in, and they're fighting over who's gonna win this battle of good versus evil. And that's the whole point of the series. A lot of more stuff happens. This is not like that. They changed all the characters, and again, this could have been a good thing because they were trying to do their own thing. The problem is that all the changes, or most of the changes that they do, are for the worst. The worst, sorry. I think the one that they changed the least is Light's dad. In the series, Light's dad is the moral center. He's the one that is on the moral right. He's the one that you look towards to see who's the person that is good, so to say. On the series, he's loyal, he believes in the law, he wants to do what is the right thing for the people, not for himself. And the guy in here, it's pretty much the same. The only thing that he's kind of a doofus, but that applies to everyone, so that's okay. The other character I think that they change more or less the least is Elle. So Elle in the series is like really, really weird and quirky. You know, it's like the weird genius. He is always eating candy. And, you know, if you've ever seen a geek sit down with their feet like this and like this, it's Elle. You know, he's always sitting weird. And it's more or less the same. He's weird in an American way. You know, he's like quirky, but not alienating. And they do make him, a change that they did that I did like, is that they make him more active. He's a bit more of an action hero in this. He like drives and like chases down Light and stuff like that, which it was okay, but again, the story is so underwhelming that it doesn't fit. The other character that they changed, and they did change him for the worst, was Ryuk. So Ryuk is the Shinigami. He's the god of the dead that kind of has the power over the book. In the original series, Ryuk just kind of drops the notebook on Earth out of boredom. He's like, I'm bored, I have 2 books. And Light just happens to pick it up. In here, he keeps talking about a game. It's like, oh, I gave you the book because I think you can follow the game. And it's like, what game? Why did you do this? And it's never explained. And they had Willem Dafoe to do a Ryuk, which is really sad. Because I think it could have been a great Ryuk. Like, he has the really creepy voice. But they don't use him. He's just like there on the background saying, you need to do the thing. It's like, why? Because I said so. If they wouldn't given up completely the idea of the Shinigami and make him a demon, it would have been better. You know, because the idea of a Shinigami is a Japanese concept. Whereas someone that comes, picks up the dead and leaves. He's not good, he's not bad. He just comes, picks the dead and goes. And this Ryuk was more of a demon. And if they would have just addressed him as a demon, it would have been better. Now, the characters that they changed the most is, of course, Light and the girlfriend, which in the anime is called Misa, and here it's called Mia. So the biggest change that they do with them is that in here they're actually in love. They're lovers. They're kind of a Bonnie and Clyde kind of situation where they get off on doing the thing. Like they have the notebook and a computer looking for criminals, and they're like writing names and having sex on top of it. It's kind of stupid. But it was a refreshing change because now Kira is them as a couple, not so much Light as a person, which I thought was an interesting change because oh shit, my cell phone. In the original one, Light is super dismissive of this girl. Light as a character in the original one is one of the most evil minds that I've seen as a character. He's someone that is narcissistic, he's someone that is smart, he's someone that is vain as hell and is convinced that he will always win and has no regard for anyone, not even his family. He doesn't have any people that he considers friends. Misa, like I said, he treats her like a thing that he can abuse. And in here, he actually cares for her. He cares for his dad, and that is a good thing. The issue is that, again, all the other changes that they made for him suck. He is your typical white boy from suburbia that sometimes gets bullied and his mom got killed and he wants revenge over his mom, and he finds out this really hot girl and he wants to be with her and he no longer knows what to do and he's sick of the system and he wants to fight the system. He's just your very vanilla kind of protagonist. which doesn't surprise me because the actor that plays Light is the protagonist of another YA fiction, which is Paper Towns. It's like, come on. Misa is a character that they changed, I think, for the best. They made her more evil on this, and here she wants to use the Death Note. She like completely drinks the Kool-Aid. She was like, we have the power to do great things, we just have to kill everyone and no one will stand in our way and this and that. And she looks really freaking evil, and that's a good thing, I believe, because Misa in the original one was super annoying. Like, she was always like, Light, I love you, Light this. She was like your typical waifu kind of anime trope, which could have been was super annoying at points. And here she's more motivated to do evil things. And like I said, she and Light work like Bonnie and Clyde. They work like partners, which I think is best. So about that story, I'm gonna break this into two parts. So I'll talk about the story and why it doesn't work in the second part, which, don't worry, I'll upload in a bit.